1270 WOCA. Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock, beautiful looking Thursday morning. It's time for Veterans News. Hank Whittier not in the studio. Gary Pascale sitting in the captain's seat. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Larry, and good morning, veterans and listeners out there. It is a beautiful day, and we're glad to have you with us on this day. And again, sorry Hank can't be with us, but again, he's out there working to get us in that new Veterans Resource Center. So he'll be back with us next week, and hopefully we can fill in for him. We got some Marines with us. We got Don Williams, and we got Jason White, and we have a very special guest, a big advocate for veterans, literally advocate for veterans, Attorney Richard Hurley. But however, we do have some casualties we have to report on the fire department side, and I want to start with firefighter Theodore Stafford. He died on May 2nd, and he was with the Sag Harbor Fire Department in Sag Harbor, New York. And we also have firefighter John Morris Davis Jr., who died on May 7th. He was with the Kinley Volunteer Fire Department in Kinley, North Carolina. And we have firefighter, fire warden, Stephen LaPierre, who died on May 5th, and he was with the Georgia Volunteer Fire Department in St. Albans, Vermont. And I believe, Jason, you have a Department of Defense casualty?
Yes, we do. The DOD identifies Army casualty, announced today the death of a soldier who was supporting Operation Inherent Resolve. First Lieutenant David A. Bowders of Seattle, Washington, died May 6 on Al-Assad Air Base, Iraq, in a non-combat related incident. Bowders was assigned to 176 Engineer Company, Snohomish, Washington. Our hearts go out to those family members of them.
Any local casualties that we know of? No? Amazing Grace?
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Well, we look forward to the day when we don't have to announce casualties, and I know that day is coming. But we want to thank the folks here at WOCA for putting us on the air every week and giving us veterans news. And we also want to thank the great folks at Bob Wine's Camellia Garden and Nursery, who have been doing this for us for a long time. They're located at 2610 Southeast 38th Street in our own beautiful Ocala. When it comes to your landscaping, and today's a great day to get out there and do it, Bob Wines has what you need. Everything from small plants to large trees, mulch, fertilizer, and much more. If they don't have it, your garden probably doesn't need it. Bob Wines will deliver stuff if you can't pick it up, and when they plant your trees, they'll guarantee them. Bob Wines has been keeping things blooming here in beautiful Ocala since 1952. And when you go in there, if you tell them that you heard about them on WOCA and you show them proof that you're a veteran, you'll get a 10% discount to boot. So you just can't beat a deal like that. Now, I do have a few announcements, Larry, and then we'll get right on with our guests, because I know Rick here is just burning with some really new information that the veterans need. But we got a few people we do need to thank. The people of Love Ocala held that auction Saturday that I had talked about on Thursday, and they raised quite a bit of money for Vets Helping Vets. So we want to thank them and the wonderful folks at VFW Post 4209 who hosted the event. And also, Ed and I had the pleasure last week of going to a meeting of the Spruce Creek Preserve Military Club way out there on 200, almost to Citrus County, but still in Marion County. And they had a golf tournament and blessed us with a very large check. So we want to thank those veterans and people who participated in that event. And thank you again to the Spruce Creek Preserve Military Club. Also, a few events coming up. Armed Forces Day is coming, and on May the 15th, at 3 p.m. at the VFW Retirement Village, which is located in Fort McCoy. It's right off of 315. They're going to have a big event there, and they'll have the Kingdom of the Sun concert band. If you've never heard them, they're a great band. They're a great band, and they play great music. Also, Vets for Vets and the Military Order of the Purple Heart are going to be honoring veterans along Florida Purple Heart Trail. This is featuring Captain James McCormick, United States Army retired, and the date is Thursday, May the 19th, 2016. It's at 10 a.m., and its location is Ocala Citizen Circle, located behind the City Hall, which is 110 Southeast Wauchula Avenue in Ocala, Florida. And I believe it's time to break, or?
All right, we got about 3 minutes.
Oh, we got about 3 minutes? All right, Rick, why don't you get started with what you're going to tell us about then?
Good morning, Gary and Jason and Don. It's a pleasure to be here. There's always a lot of new things that I like to mention that's going on at the VA. I would like to let you know that about 2 weeks ago, David and I, my law partner, David Corey, and I held a lecture seminar in Citrus Hills. We had about 60 people there. It went on for about 3 hours, and we gave all sorts of great information. And one of the things that I saw that was very important, and I saw the veterans really kind of latching onto, is kind of it was almost like estate planning, advising widows and veterans with spouses. What happens after the veteran passes away? If he passes away of a service-connected injury, what benefits will there be for the widow, which is on every veteran's mind? And that can open up a whole can of discussion, and how important it is for the widow to be in touch with the primary care physician, the doctor who's tending to the veteran, because if he is on his deathbed, and it's a service-connected disease or injury that's put him there, well, the doctor needs to know about that, because when they get ready to write up that death certificate, it's very important to make sure you put down that cause of death. And if it's service-connected, it's going to make it that much more easier for the widow's representative or attorneys. And I say this to you because we just had a case. We went back to a 2008 World War II veteran. He died in 2008, and we just got him service-connected 8 years later. She's been fighting this for 8 years, and wow. we just reversed the VA's prior decision, wow. and he's been service-connected. So that's a very important issue for our elderly veterans. go into a break?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then we'll have a good 12 minutes left on the other side of the break. Do you want me to invite listeners
Absolutely.
to call in? Okay, if you'd like to call in, the number is 622-962. We've got a short break, just weather and a couple of commercials, and we'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For Thursday, looking partly sunny with a high of 84 to 89 degrees, and Thursday night is clear with a low of 64 to 70. Friday, looking at sunny to partly cloudy skies, a shower thunderstorm in spots late in the afternoon with a high of 87 to 91. And Saturday, to start the weekend, partly sunny with a high of 87 to 92. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Evan Duffy.
Hey, you're looking for something really new and exciting for your yard or garden? Check out the new collection of metal yard art, wall hangings, garden signage, and a fantastic selection of pottery, all just in at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens. A special selection of pottery, all 20% off. And speaking of savings, check these out. Just in hybrid tea roses, beautiful, very fragrant, regularly $29.99, just $24.99. More roses, double red, double pink, plus drift roses in a whole host of colors, just $19.99. A huge selection of geraniums, more colors than you can imagine, just $1.99. Plus 7 different varieties of daylilies, get 6 for $29.99. Hurry this week to Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, just east of 441. Daily till 4, Saturdays till 3. We'll see you there this week.
The Orlando Fringe returns its 25th anniversary festival, May 18th through the 30th, with nearly 1,000 performances from local, national, and international performing arts companies. There is truly something for everyone at the Orlando Fringe. For tickets and information, visit orlandofringe.org or call 407-648-0077. We hope to see you on the Fringe. Orlando Fringe, 25 years bold.
All right, 16 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's return to Veterans News. Rick, I think we'll throw it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And again, good morning. A couple of other things that we can talk about is the recent news about Camp Lejeune, which is on a lot of people's minds. As of December 17th, 2015, there was a press release, and the Secretary, Bob McDonald, intends to propose a creation of presumption of service connection for the following conditions: kidney cancer, liver cancer, non-Hodgkin lymphoma, leukemia, multiple myeloma, scleroderma, Parkinson's, aplastic anemia, to name a few. Again, this is a proposed creation of a presumption of service, so we'll see what happens as this gets through Congress and everything else. But the point is this, and what David and I are advising veterans is that if you are being represented at this point, you should put in a claim. These are proposals, and some veteran service officers might say, "Oh, no, you can't do that because it's not a claim yet."
You hear it all the time.
Well, let me tell you something. If we're going to wait around for claims to be finally codified, we're going to wait forever. It's better to put the claim in. We know that it's going to take 2 or 3 years for any sort of legislation to get through before these proposals as far as the presumptions of service connection injuries at Camp Lejeune are going to come through. So let's get your claim in now. Then you're ready to go. You got the bat in hand and you're ready to play ball. But if you wait until they make the proposal and put it in writing, now you file, boy, you're going to be 3 or 4 years down the road again. Yep. You've wasted probably a total of 6 to 7 years. Get it in now. Tell your representative, and if he or she won't do it for you, find someone that will. David Corey and I will put them in. There's nothing wrong about putting it in. Nothing unethical about it. In fact, I would argue that it would be almost unethical for an attorney not to put it in if the attorney knows that this is on the cusp of changing the law.
Absolutely.
So that's some advice there.
Concerning that Camp Lejeune, that had to do with the drinking water, is that
Yes.
correct? Well, what about dependents and civilians that were on the base at that time?
Well, there are 2 avenues for a veteran or a civil person. For a veteran, there are the two avenues would be filing an 1151, which would be similar to filing any regular and normal claim through the VA, or you can file a federal tort claim action. Okay, and that will proceed in the federal court system. Okay, in the federal court system, you can get redress of pain and suffering, which you won't get in the VA system. You get compensation for your injuries, compensation for lost wages. You won't get pain and suffering. In the federal system, you can get not only compensation for your lost wages and medical expenses, but you can also get pain and suffering. So a civilian would be able to file under the Federal Tort Claims Act, no problem. Whether or not they can file an 1151 under the VA would be something else that you have to look into.
And how far back does that water issue go?
1953.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
1953 to 1987 is the window that they're talking about, and you could actually argue that it goes back to when they built it in 1942. And Camp Lejeune is only one of about 109 bases in this country where that issue is relevant. We just focus on Camp Lejeune because it's
Big,
it's the Donald Trump
Yeah.
of bases out there right now. So another issue that I want to talk about quickly is the proposal, again by Bob McDonald, with regard to Agent Orange, and that is to include as the part of the presumption of diseases, to include Parkinson's, to include hypertension, to include bladder cancer. So again, these are proposals that he apparently is going to address at the end of the summer, if in fact they get included on the list, which includes ischemic heart disease, diabetes, and all sorts of others. There's 50 or 60 on there. Prostate cancer. So if those are included, again, it's a proposal. So you should, if you suffer from one of those diseases, medical conditions, and you were in Vietnam, so that the presumption would apply, get to your representative and tell them, please add this as a claim. Please file a 526B form and put hypertension or bladder cancer. And bladder cancer is very interesting because the number one cause of bladder cancer is smoking. And so many Vietnam veterans will tell you that they smoked when they were in Vietnam.
Sure.
Smoked and drank. That's how they passed the time, unless they were fighting. So, to put that out there is, I think, very significant for the veteran.
Well, I don't have any medical training at all, but being a Vietnam-era veteran myself, I have a lot of friends and personal acquaintances that have dealt with the Agent Orange issue, and most of them that have claims or have that, they have multiple amounts of these diseases and stuff all together, that you've mentioned, including even other stuff. Is that pretty common?
Absolutely. Skin cancer is on the list. Skin cancer has got to be a chronic skin cancer. And how do you define chronic is an interesting thing. I want to also talk about some quick tips. One of the things that David and I have found to be extremely helpful for veterans is that if you are unable to work due to your service-connected disability, file a claim for total disability rating based on individual unemployability. Don't wait until you technically reach that rating of 60 or 70%, which makes it appropriate for you to file that TDIU. If you're at 30% or 20% and you've got a claim in for PTSD and you're seeking 100% or something else that's going to put you up to 60 or 70%, add the IU claim at that point. Don't wait for the VA to turn around, rate you at 60 or 70% so that you are now applicable to file a TDIU and then file it. Because now you're going to wait another 2 or 3 years for the IU claim to be heard. Put it all together in the original package and get it out the door. We recently had a veteran who had all sorts of physical ailments, including TBI and PTSD. He was in Iraq. He's an Iraqi veteran. Jason, you just commented on this. He operated what they call the Buffalo, which was utilized to explode IEDs while he was in Iraq. He did this for 18 months. He had 13 concussions. The VA has so far denied him for traumatic brain injury.
Wow.
In addition to that, we got him up to 70% for his PTSD, and I was seeking 100%. The VA is keeping him at 70. They're not going to increase him. I've appealed everything. But what I did was I included an individual unemployability claim.
Good.
He received the IU claim. So now he's at 100%. And everyone would say, well, terrific, you've done your job. Well,
It's not over.
unfortunately, if for some reason he's able to work again, he'll lose that IU. So now he's going to lose his 100%, be brought back to his 70% PTSD. The VA more than likely will then turn around and say, well, you're working now.
Yep.
So now we're going to reduce your 70% to 50% or 30%.
Oh my goodness.
So he's going to go from $3,100 a month down to maybe $900 a month and again, when you get into working again, it'll be a very minimal job. But the VA will take that away from him.
People don't understand either, and it needs to be brought up that these veterans are, a lot of them, let's just say the ones that are transitioning now or have been transitioned from this generation from the military out, when you have those claims and then get reduced, a lot of times, like myself, I'll use myself as an example. I didn't have necessarily a job or career set forth, so I was relying on my veterans benefits because it was a struggle to find a career or job that would compensate enough to even pay the bills that I needed to pay with my family. So when they get reduced, now it knocks them not only down in the hole, but it causes so many other things where you lose that kind of money, you're unable to pay bills that you have to pay. You're going more and more in debt. And the VA, they don't look at that. They say, well, it's just your compensation. And then you say you're working. Well, you're right. Their working doesn't compensate because the jobs that most veterans get nowadays don't even compare to the amount of money that they need to support their families.
Especially if you have children, these younger
Absolutely.
vets, there's no way that they could live with 3 kids on a pension.
You're right.
If it's 100%.
And even with the compensation, when you do have dependents, they'll add maybe $100 here for each child, or
Yep.
$150. I mean, it's not a huge amount.
The reduction really can affect, I'll tell you, to be honest with you, it's affected my family, affected me financially because of the reduction that I was put on me from the VA. And I do want to say that Richard Hurley does represent myself, and I've already been bumped up to 80% with his guidance. So this is something that can be fought for and can be done with guidance. And the best way to seek your guidance is having someone that is knowledgeable and has a platform and a structure to get you what you need and deserve. And that person is sitting right here. That's Richard Hurley.
And we
They were
bring
trying to
you up from the South, so we need you to tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
Well, I'm actually located here in Hernando, the town of Hernando, not Hernando County. And my number is 727-612-1515. My law partner, David Corey, who operates out of our Brandon, Tampa office, is 813-662-0760. Give either one of us a call, or you can go to our website at CoreyandHurleyLawGroup.com, and you can put a question on our website, and we'll promptly get back to you and answer it.
And also, we keep Rick's cards at our office at Vets Helping Vets, which is at 1527 Northeast 8th Avenue, or you could reach us at 352-433-2320. And Larry, how much time we got?
We got about a minute and
We
15
got a minute and
seconds.
15 seconds. Rick, got something you want to wind up with?
Yeah. Couple of other quick tips is when you're preparing to file with the VA, get all your military records and your civilian medical records together. Lawyers can help you do that. We've got the forms to gather that information. And when you do, make sure you keep a copy for yourself. So often I see people go off to these county facilities who are filing these claims, and then they want to hire me. So I said, well, go to the county facility and get me your file. And they come back with about 2 or 3 pages of information. I'm like, well, where's the rest of your file? And and the county facilities tells the veteran, we don't have it. We don't keep that. What did you file on behalf of the veteran? Well, we don't keep that either. That's already been shipped down to the VA.
Man.
Absolutely.
So I get 2 or 3 pages, and I have to now recreate the file.
10 seconds.
All right, we got 10 seconds. Thank you, Rick. And
Thank you,
Rick
Rich.
will be back with us.
Absolutely.
And we wanted to say, God bless America.
From the mountains to the prairie.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. The presumptive GOP presidential nominee heads to Washington.
There are many Republicans